I unboxed this amp and the packaging alone set the tone. Double boxed, secure, and clearly built to survive real shipping. Once I wired it in, I immediately heard more headroom than my receiver section could deliver. In stereo bridge mode, I got serious punch, and the low end felt tighter and more controlled than I expected for the price.
I compared it directly against gear I have lived with for years, including older high-dollar amps and a Marantz setup. What stood out was how calm it stayed at elevated listening levels. I could push loud passages without harsh edges, and I did not get the strained character that usually shows up first when an amp is running out of breath.
I also tested it across different speaker roles, not just mains. Driving surround, surround back and ceiling channels, it kept bass definition better than expected. After room correction, crossover behavior shifted in a good way, which matched what I was hearing. Cleaner extension and more authority, even on smaller drivers that normally sound thinner.
One thing I paid attention to was thermal behavior over time. I let it run hard for extended sessions and the chassis stayed reasonable, with no shutdowns and no sudden compression in peaks. That gave me confidence to use my receiver only as a preamp and hand off the heavy lifting, because this unit handled dynamic swings with less drama.
Physically, this thing feels substantial in the best way. It is heavy, planted, and gives that tank-like confidence when you rack it. I ran balanced connections, and the background stayed impressively quiet when program material paused. That silence between notes made transients feel sharper and helped imaging lock in, especially in busy multi-channel scenes.
I noticed the biggest practical gain was usable loudness without fatigue. With comparable content, I could reach levels that previously triggered thermal protection on lighter built-in amp sections. Here, I kept control, clarity, and bass shape at the same time. For my setup, that translated to a more cinematic feel without needing to push the system into obvious stress.
After cycling through stereo bridging and multi-channel duty, my takeaway is simple. This amp delivers honest power with composure. It is not just about raw volume, it is about maintaining grip when scenes get dense and demanding. In my room, it gave me cleaner impact, steadier bass, and a level of confidence I usually associate with much pricier amplification.
When I switched from music to movie-heavy material, the difference was even clearer. Dialogue stayed anchored while effects expanded without collapsing the center image. I could raise master level and still keep separation between front stage and ambient channels, so action scenes felt bigger but never smeared into a wall of noise.
I paid close attention to bass handoff across channels because that is where many systems get sloppy. Here, kick impact and low synth notes carried weight without turning boomy, and surround transitions remained coherent. The amplifier seemed to keep better control over starts and stops, which made timing feel tighter in both music and film.
Another practical benefit for me was flexibility. I could run bridged stereo when I wanted extra force up front, then reassign channels for immersive layouts without changing the character too much. That consistency matters because it means I can tune once and spend more time enjoying content instead of constantly fighting level and balance drift.
After living with it day